Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulil Nabil Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Welcome all to this another webinar from Taif Digital Institute. Taif Digital Institute, our key objective is to focus on capacity building, mainly for Islamic banking and financial institutions, and coming out with programs whereby people can enhance their abilities and knowledge. So for today's webinar, we have selected another topic which is unique and which is equally applicable for all industries, including Islamic financial institution, which is the project management PMP program. Taif is planning, depending on the interest of the participants, with today's instructor, Mr. Kashif Mavi, we are planning to start a preparatory class for the PMP exam. So we said that we should invite Mr. Kashif Mavi today for this session so that he can update us on the exam, its requirement, and everything else that you need to know about PMP examination. So project management is one key skill that is most sought for globally, and is one of the thing that everybody should, any professional should look for this qualification. Mr. Kashif Mavi is an experienced banker. He works with the bank. In fact, he has, we had the privilege to work together as well. So he's a close friend of mine as well, and a colleague. We work together in Ghana, West Africa. And he's he's an auditor. Main his focus is on audit, system audit, internal audit, other controls. And he's a very senior instructor for PMP examinations as well. Many of you might have attended his classes for PMP. He has an institute as well. He's based in Canada. We are really thankful for him and some other colleagues who have joined us from Canada because it's 5 a.m. there. So we told him that to be beneficial in terms of the time for most of our students, 2 p.m. Dubai time is the best time. And he very kindly agreed to actually wake up early in the morning. So thank you very much, Brother Kashif. So I would request you to do a brief introduction of yourself, and then the mic is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Zia. It's a pleasure to be here. And good morning, good afternoon, good morning over here. So those of you who are joining from Canada, because it's, as Zia said, it's 5 a.m. in the morning. But wherever you are joining from the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'll just go through a brief experience of myself and a brief introduction of myself, and then we'll start the presentation. So my name, as Zia said, is Kashif Mavi. I'm basically based in Canada. I've got experience as a project manager, as a project auditor, agile coach, and I've been teaching PMP exam prep courses as well. I'm a PMP ACP, which is a specific qualification for agile. So Agile certified practitioner, Scrum Master, Six Sigma certified, and I also have a master certificate in project management. I worked in banking, telecommunication, where I worked with Zia very closely for many, many years, and in service industry as well. As far as my PMP exam prep courses are concerned, I'm teaching since 2013. I do a lot of volunteer work here in Canada, and specifically, I work with a lot of newcomers who come here, who want to change their career, who want to join as a project manager, because project management is one of a very widely accepted certification and qualification and domain where you can work when you come over here, or those who come over here to Canada or America. And we'll talk about it in detail as well. I'm also a board, so I work with, I sit on a couple of boards, which are government funded and which work with all the new immigrants and skilled immigrants which come over here. So I work with them. I'm on a board of a organization called RDR, which works on diversity, inclusion, and equality. Mentor at TRIC, volunteer at Canadian Red Cross, and for my volunteering work, I've been granted a lot of appreciation certifications from minister and from some city administration as well. So we'll go through the presentation. I'll let you know what is PMP, right? And how do you, what's the course structure? Because, you know, a lot of people, they come to me. I've been teaching for such a long time. So a lot of people come to me initially and say, you know, what is project management and how do we do it? And what's the course outline? You know, because most of the people who are from finance, engineering, they know what's a course. So, you know, unless and until you know what is there, then only you'll be able to, you know, attempt it, or you'll have interest in that. So we'll go through that as well. What we'll do is that I'll try to, it's a full 1 hour presentation, but it's 5:09 right now. So I'll try to finish it like 10 minutes before that, so that we can be, if we have, we can take some questions, which I'll be able to answer you. And if not, then you can always send your question to Taif or to, you know, my email address was there in the first slide as well. So you can always send those questions to me as well. And I'll try to answer you as soon as possible, as best as I can. I'm also on LinkedIn, on Facebook, so you can always get connected to me over there as well. And we'll take it from there. Okay, so what is PMI? Which is Project Management Institute. So PMI is an abbreviation of Project Management Institute. It was formed in 1969 in Pennsylvania, USA, one of the largest professional membership associations. It has presence in 220 countries, and it offers 8 globally accepted certification, has 1.2 million PMP credential holders, and there are many chapters in through which they arrange their seminars and all those things for the purpose of PDUs. We'll talk about PDUs a bit later in the session. In Ontario, where I am based, Canada, one of the province of Canada, there are 6 chapters over there, and wherever you are. So likewise, wherever you are, if you are in Dubai, there might be 1 or more than 1 chapters. You will be able to join it, and you'll be able to network and attend some of their sessions as well. This is just a fact file where you can see that as of 31st of August 2021, there were approximately 1.2 million PMP certificate holders all over the world, right? It's not only for Canada, but all over the world. Okay, what are the certifications that are offered by PMI? So PMI offers, there are a couple of other small certifications as well. So we are not talking about those, but then the main certifications offered by PMI are, so for CAPM is for those who are very new to the project management, doesn't have much experience, and just as a entry level, for example, if you have recently graduated from college or university. Then PGMP, which is for those managers who worked on strategic, and who work on different programs. PFMP, who for those project managers who work on portfolio. ACP, which is Agile Certified Practitioner. So those, project managers who work on Agile projects. There is a certification, PMI BBA. It is for those professionals who work as a business analyst, specifically as a business analyst in a project. Then those people who work on risk management, there's a certification called PMI RMP. And for those who work on scheduling specifically. So, it looks like very small thing just to make a schedule, but imagine NASA sending a space mission to Mars or to Earth, right? So for that, the schedule is not a 1-page or 2-page schedule, but it runs into maybe hundreds or thousands of pages, right? So, those people who work specifically on schedule, that is their certification. And then PMP, which is why we are here. So it is called Project Management Professional. And it is for those professionals who have some experience and competence in leading the project. So which means that if you are, I won't talk about high school because it's a bit extra hours, but if you are a bachelor, which I'm sure that most of you are, so you have to have a 4-year bachelor certification, and then 4,500 hours of experience, depending on it roughly comes to 2.5 to 3 years, depending on how many hours in a week do you work. So roughly 3 years of experience, and then 35 hours of education. So that is what normally in Canada I provide those 35 hours of education of those classes, after which we give you certificate, and then on the basis of that certificate you will be able to register for your exam. So these three are preconditions, right? Unless and until these three are there, you won't be able to register for the exam, or for PMP exam. So these three are those conditions. One more important thing which normally a lot of people ask me is that this organization or this PMI Institute is based in US, right? And then what about the bachelor certification? Because, for example, if somebody is in Dubai, if somebody is in Pakistan, if somebody is in bachelor's, their years of education is different, 12 years or 14 years of education. And then over here in America or Canada, graduation normally is considered 16 years of education. So one good thing about this is that wherever you are, if you are a graduate, that is taken into account. So for example, even if you are in Pakistan, or even if you are in Dubai, and you have done those 14 years of education, and then on the basis of that you've got a graduation, that is also accepted as a graduate, just because of the reason that this institute is a globally recognized institute. So it doesn't take into account saying, okay, you know what, if you are from India, or if you are from Pakistan, if you are from Bangladesh, you have to spend 2 years more in that. So that is one of the good things, that wherever you are, it would be taken into account. Okay, one important thing for that experience is that there should not be any, because a lot of people ask me this question as well, so there should not be any overlapping experience. So for example, if you have worked on one project from January to April, and then simultaneously you're working on another project from February to June. So it doesn't mean that from January to April, which is 4 months, and then from February to June, which is again 5 months. So you take 9 months into consideration. So you will be taken as from January to April, one project for 4 months, and then from May to June, 2 months for another project. So that is very important, because you cannot have overlapping experience. Project managers, as you know, they work on multiple projects at one time as well, sometimes or most of the time. So that is one of the things. I can see one hand up, but I'll stop in the middle of the presentation for quite a minute, for a few minutes, and then we can take up that question, or either we can take it up at the end of the session.
Yeah, I would suggest if rather than raising the hand now, so if you can write the question in the Q&A, so we will take it up at the time and you may continue.
Yeah, that would also be. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, the PDU, so it's a professional certification, which means that once you pass that certification, you have to maintain it, or you have to maintain it in terms of what's new in the industry. You need to, so for that purpose, after you pass your PMP exam, in 3-year cycle, you have to earn 60 PDUs. So PDUs are the professional development units. And very clearly thereby, so for example, if there's a project manager, he would definitely be continuously working over project. So very clearly PMI has defined that when you earn 60 PDUs in 3 years time, that should be a mix of education and then giving back to the community, which means that in under education, 8 hours you should be you should earn 8 hours of PDUs in technical skills, 8 hours in leadership skill, 8 hours in strategic and business management skill, 8 hours working as a professional. If you are working, as a project manager, and then 17 hours of volunteering and creating knowledge. If you have written an article, if you have volunteered, if you have taught somebody, so all these things are taken into consideration. But then this is only once you pass your PMP exam. So why is it important to earn PMP certification? And a lot of people also ask me that, I'm also already working as a project manager. So why do you want me to, do PMP? So first of all, it recognizes your skills, knowledge and abilities as a project manager. Importantly, very important is that it's a globally recognized certification, which means that it is equally applicable, it is equally recognized and valued, not only in US, but also in Canada, in Africa, in Middle East, in Europe, wherever you go. Nobody is going to ask you that, have you done your PMP from Dubai? Have you done your PMP from Africa, from South Africa, from Nigeria? Have you done it from there? No, it's a globally recognized certification. In fact, on the certificate itself, it doesn't state that you have done it from USA or from Canada, because there is only one institute in the world which is only in USA. And that issues that certification, and that certification is globally accepted. So, for example, those of you from accounting background, you might be knowing that, for example, if you have done your CA from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, wherever, when you come to this part of the country, in the Western country or North America, they always ask you that, okay, you have done your CA from there, but if you want to work over here, if you want to have our qualification certification, you have to do CPA. Then again, if you have done CPA, if you come to Canada, if you have done CPA from USA, if you come to Canada, they'll always say that CPA is USA CPA. You have not done your Canadian CPA, so you have to take your courses and do the CPA over there. That issue is not over here, because it is globally recognized, that one certificate is globally recognized all over the world. It definitely reflects achievement. It, once you show that PMP certification to anybody, it is deemed for them that at least you have you have met this 3 standard requirement, which means that at least you are a graduate, at least you have a working experience of 4,500 hours in project management domain. And when I say project management domain, it doesn't mean that you are working, you have worked as a project manager, because PMI also knows that you are now going for a PMP certification. So you are not a project manager as such, but you have at least worked. You are not a fresh graduate from the school, unless and until you have done your CAPM. And then you have gone through, so whatever you have done, maybe you have done MSc in zoology, or maybe we have done MSc in astronomy, right? But with this 35 hours, you have at least gone through a formal course or a formal education for project management, which is a basic requirement, right? So at least they know that even if you have experience in any other field, these are you have at least gone through the course of that project management as well. It definitely increases your salary. It's a career advancement in your current profile or organization, wherever you are working. The employers, they appreciate a lot for taking their staff, for taking extra step in professional development. It also has a competitive advantage within the job market. The moment you pass your PMP, you are able to, or you are, you are authorized to write PMP in front of your name, which wherever, even if your name is presented anywhere, it definitely shows that you are a PMP and you are a professional in your field. And the most important thing of all is that with this certification, you can enter various domains. I've got a lot of my friends who are working in banking industry, and the next contract they get is in IT industry. The third contract they get is in telecommunication industry, and so on and so forth. So your avenues for job, they open up. You are not confined on, into only one domain. Like, for example, if you are a doctor or if you are an engineer, you cannot come into the banking sector. If you are a telecommunication engineer, there is no place for you. I mean, like in terms of theory, there is no place for you to come in the banking sector. So all those things, you have various domains available, various fields open, and you can increase your chances of job. There was a survey done by Project Management Institute itself, and this survey report, which is Job Growth and Talent Gap, this is there on their website as well. You can go and check it yourself. It shows that by 2022 there'll be almost 2.2 million jobs as a project manager, which will be available and which needs to be filled. And there is a huge gap which is coming up, because there are a lot of projects going on, and there are not less and less project managers, but there's a lot of demand for the project managers as well. If you can see over here, the biggest demand they have identified is in Canada, US, Germany, London, Saudi Arab, Dubai, India, China, Japan, and many other. But these are the top 5 or 6. Of course, there are other countries as well, but they have identified here. And then the leading sectors they have identified where they feel that there'll be a lot of job requirements are in manufacturing, information security, finance and insurance, management and professional services, utilities, and oil and gas. So those are some of the areas where there is a widening gap between more and more projects that are coming up and professional qualified project managers. So it's a upcoming domain. It's not a dying profile. Like for example, for accountants, now we say that it's a sort of a dying profession because everything is getting computerized. So maybe in a couple of year accounting profession would not be, but it's not the case with project managers. And you can see it's a booming domain. There was a survey done by Global Knowledge, which is a very famous and very big educational institute over here in Canada, and on August 17 to 2021, and they identified that the 15 top paying IT certifications for 2021. And if you see, project manager was 7th in the line with roughly an average salary of about $148,000 to $150,000 a year, right? So that is again, salary depending on your experience and your qualification and skills. But this would just give you an idea of what a project manager salary would be. Okay, now let's get into project management exam. So up till now, we were just discussing as to what is a project manager and do you really have that preconditions or that necessary skills to get into the into that industry. So PMP exam is administered all over the world through Pearson VUE testing centers. So, and wherever in the world you'll go, there would be a Pearson VUE testing center. If not, then to your nearest country, if you are in a very, very small country somewhere. So, you've got a detailed list of all those centers in the, on their website. And just from last year, due to this COVID restriction, they have started proctored exam as well. So proctored exam means that you can sit at your home and you can give your exam. However, there are certain rules and regulations that you have to follow. So first of all, there should be a quite private location, reliable webcam, and strong internet. You cannot be sitting in a room full of people, or in a cafe or somewhere, and then you can give the exam. So it is a very important thing that you have to follow. You will have to consent to be audio and video recording of your face, voice, and room for the whole 4 hours of the exam, which means that you don't have any right of privacy, right? And there'll be, when you go to the center, when you go to the Pearson VUE testing centers to give the exam, you are given a calculator and a writing pad. That when you are giving a proctored exam, that is online. So for those people who have difficulty in working on computers, sort of working with calculator on the computer or as a writing pad in the computer itself, it's a bit difficult. I know a lot of my students, they waited till the time the testing centers were open, just because of the reason that they couldn't work over it. And I'll give my example as well. It's like for me as well, I cannot work like this on the online calculator. Okay, as far as the exams are concerned, there are 180 questions, out of which 175 are scored and 5 questions are unscored. Those are basically to test new concept, but of course, those are undisclosed. It's a 4-hour exam. The total time allocated for the exam itself to respond to the questions are 230. So all these basically change, because previously it was a 4-hour exam. You can just sit, but from last year, the format of the exam also changed. So now there are 230 minutes to respond to 180 questions. The exam is divided into 3 sections. So you'll get 2 breaks of 10 minutes each, which was not there previously. When I sat in the exam, I had to sit completely for 4 hours straight, and there were about 200 questions. So now it's divided into 3 sections. You will get the first break after completion of 60 questions from 1 to 60, and you'll review those questions. You'll confirm that you have reviewed all those questions, and then you'll get a 10 minutes break. And when you come back from the break, you won't be able to go back and check the answers for those 60. You have to do those checking of the 60 questions before you go for the break, right? So you won't be able to go and review those sections. Then again, when you come from 61 to 120 questions, you complete it, you review the answers, you confirm that you have checked everything, and then you'll go on a second 10 minutes break. And then the third section, which comes in, which starts from 121 up till 180 questions. So it's a very important, which is a game changer, that you will not be able to return to your questions for the previous section. And just before the beginning of the exam and after the exam, you'll have 15 minutes for tutorial and for a survey, which of course is both optional. One important thing is that once you register for the exam, you'll have 3 attempts in all. So you'll attempt first time, then God forbid if you don't pass, you'll attempt second time, and then again if you don't pass, you'll attempt 3 times. And if in a year, it is registration is for a year. So in a year, if you're not able to pass the PMP exam by attempting it 3 times, then you'll have to wait for 1 year before you again register for your exam, and then again you start attempting. So that is very important, that you have to, after 3 attempts, you have to wait for 1 year. PMP exam. So previously, previously there were 200 questions. So all the 200 questions were MCQs. But now in the new format, there are, which started basically from this January, which is version edition 7th, and this January they changed a little bit of format. So in the new format, there will be a combination of MCQs, drag and drop. Like for example, from this process management, or the processes and the process group, of you can drag and drop those multiple responses, matching, hotspot, and fill in the blank. So as hotspot, if you see the first figure, there are these A, B, C, and D. You just drag this C to the required answer, and then it will be, this diagram would change. So those are, so it's a interaction with your digital graphic use. Okay, now in PMP exam, there are 3 main domains. So one is people, the second is processes, and the third is business environment. PMI has very clearly bifurcated, saying that that out of people, there'll be 42% exam coverage. Out of processes, there'll be 50% exam coverage, and from business environment, there'll be 8%. They're very clearly identified, which means that you specifically know that out of people, there'll be people domain, there'll be 76 questions. Out of processes, there'll be 90 questions, and from business environment, there'll be 14 questions, which means 180 questions. Now, last year, when we had 200 questions and when we were attempting PMP exam, the whole exam was based on waterfall methodology. So there were some questions from Agile, but it was very clearly, their focus was waterfall. From January onwards, their focus will be 50% on waterfall and 50% over Agile or hybrid. Very clearly, they have distinguished it. 50% out of these 180 questions will be waterfall and 50% Agile. So this is overall that what it is. What are the basic domains? Now, what's a project management or project manager or the project team? A lot of people, they ask me that as well. So project, it's a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, services, or result, which means that if you see over here, it's always temporary. If it is continuous, something which you are doing on a continuous basis, it becomes an operation. It's not a project anymore. And then it is undertaken to create a unique product, that product which was not produced before. If the same product is produced again and again, it is not a uniqueness. It then becomes an operational. It then becomes a manufacturing concern where it is produced on a regular basis. So very important that that is a project. Two important things that it has, because it's of a temporary nature, it definitely should have a beginning and an end to the project. If it is not there, it's not a project. What is project management? So project management refers to guiding the project manager, the project work to deliver the intended outcome. And how do you deliver those projects? There are the various approaches that you take, which are described in when you study that project management course. And then those approaches may be somewhere from waterfall, agile, or hybrid, which means a mix of waterfall and agile itself. Sorry, project manager, he or she is the person who is assigned to lead the project team, which is responsible for achieving the project objectives. And what's a project team? It is a set of individuals who are working or who are performing the work of the project to achieve its objective. So just to have an overview that these are some of the, for those of you who have never worked on a project or who are new to project management field, this is what the concept of that project management and project is. So prior to last year, this was the framework, project management framework, which consisted of 5 process group, 10 knowledge areas. And within those 5 process group and 10 knowledge areas, there were 49 processes which has to be conducted in order to complete that project. It is still applicable because if you, and I'll share one clip as well, where even somebody asked the Project Management Institute that whether this framework is applicable. And if you know, a lot of projects right now have already worked in a waterfall methodology. So this one is a waterfall methodology or waterfall framework. So it is still applicable. And for the purpose of your practical or technical information, or if for even for the purpose of exam, you might want to have an idea of these processes as well, because this is the practical way of doing the project itself. However, in the new syllabus, which starts from this January 2021, we have these 3 basic domains of people, processes, and environment. And if you see, so these 2, people and business environment, basically are new. And you can see that why there is a lot of focus over there, because basically it's the team who delivers the project, and it's more about how do you handle the team, how do you handle the how do you lead the team, how do you support the team, how do you empower the team so that they produce their best, right? How do you remove the impediments that are coming in the way of a project or in the way of a teamwork, right? And then all the processes, 49 processes, if you see over there, is all being pushed together under processes. So same thing, if you see over here, manage communication, manage risk, stakeholders, schedule, quality, scope, changes, what if there are changes in the project, procurement, governance, all those issues are there, which are being purged into one process, which is then again, if you see 50%. And then very important, they have now identified and they have got it into the course itself to see that what is the benefit and the value to the business. It's not like this that you just do the project, spend the money, and that's it. You are a project manager, you are being on a project, and that's it, you have done your project. But it's more importantly that what value, what benefit does it bring to the organization itself. So 8% coverage is been given there, 42% of course on people, and then 50% on processes. And there are certain tasks they have identified, and if you understand these tasks, then you will be able to work on a project. And of course, those, as I said, that 50% will be predictive, and 50% will be on a 50% agile, and 50% on waterfall methodology. Now, if you see those 14 tasks, if you see, or those, if I show over here, that these people, processes, and business environments, so this whole framework, if you see, how does it cover the course itself? So there are 8 performance domains and 12 principles, which covers everything which was being shown, or all those 35 tasks which we'd been shown in the previous slide. So for example, here, project performance domain itself is relating to all those activities which are critical for effective deliver of the project outcome itself, right? Then we have shareholders, sorry, not shareholders, stakeholders. So it is, these are all those activities that are associated with how do you engage the stakeholders, and how do you promote productive involvement of stakeholders in project decision making and implementation. Then team domain, which are all those activities and functions that are associated with the team members, that is people who are responsible for producing the project deliverables. Development approach, which means whether you are working in a waterfall approach, agile, or hybrid approach. So you have that domain as well. Planning, which addresses all the functions and activities with the initialization of the project, ongoing and evolving coordination, which is necessary for delivery of the project, delivering the project itself. Then the project work itself, which includes running the project, communication, engagement, managing physical resources, procurement, etc., etc. Then after project work, delivery, which is associated with delivering the scope. Measurement, which addresses how do you assess the performance of the project itself through variances and through all those there are certain tools for that. And then uncertainty, which revolves around certain risks, and then how do you respond, or how do you plan for that risk? So very important, right? And then all these performance domains are covered with those 12 principles as well, which are stewardship, team, stakeholders, value, that you focus on the value of the project. How do you demonstrate the leadership behavior? How do you tailor tailoring? So how do you tailor certain projects? So every project is unique in itself, right? As we discussed before, which means that it's not a cookie cutter sort of thing, that for every industry and for every project you just put the same framework. So how do you tailor those things? How do you optimize the response and all those things? So everything is covered into these 8 performance domains and 12 principles. Okay, from Islamic point of view, right? What is the importance of this project management domain that we are, working from? Because this project management in the Western world, yes, but those people who are working in Islamic countries, Indonesia, all those things. So what is the importance of this project management? So I believe that project management is one of the oldest profession, which was bestowed upon our holy prophets as well. So, for example, Prophet Adam, as we say, he was assigned as a Khalifa on earth, right? So he was, Khalifa is what? Khalifa or Amir is the designation of a project manager. Prophet Nuh, he was assigned a project to build an ark. So it was a project management, right? Prophet Ibrahim, he was assigned to build Kaaba. Prophet Solomon, he was assigned to build the Temple of Solomon. All those were projects, right? If you see it from a broader concept. Professor Hood, he was shifting good people from one place to another before the exam. It was a project, right? He took the whole. How do you manage it, and how does he move those people? Prophet Musa, when he was crossing the Red Sea, if you just visualize it, it was a project. He would not just have just gone and said, okay, come in. So it's all a project. And of course, our holy prophet, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was assigned with the project of spreading Islam and unifying the Arab under a single religion. So it was all a project. If you see, he had planned for it. He had definitely worked on finances for it, and then all the planning and execution, and then he did it, and then at the end he closed the project. Roles, what are the roles basically as a conventional project manager and as Islamic project manager? So in a conventional project manager or as a project manager, the designation is a project manager. And from the Islamic point of view, his designation is Amir or the Khalifa. The project manager, he takes the guidance from PMBOK, or the project management is standard. A project manager from Islamic point of view, he takes guidance from Quran and Sunnah. The project deliverables as a project manager can only be as per the project charter, which could also be non-Islamic as well. So for example, establishing a wine factory or any other project as well. From Islamic point of view, only legal, halal, or Islamic projects can be undertaken by a project manager, by an Islamic project manager. Finances, which are one of the key backbone of any project. In a conventional system, it's interest based, whereas in a Islamic point of view, it is non-interest based or Islamic mode or profit and loss account. In a conventional project manager, his role model is the PMO office, whereas in Islamic point of view, his role model should be our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his role. The stakeholders are in a project in a conventional project, his stakeholders or his objective is to satisfy the project or satisfy the stakeholders, whereas from Islamic point of view, his objective or project manager's objective is to satisfy the will of Allah, which means that when you make Allah as one of your stakeholders, your barakah increases. The success criteria of a role in a project manager's role is the satisfaction of the project stakeholders, whereas from Islamic point of view, it is seeking the pleasure of Allah. And of course, the leadership qualities are very well prescribed in the project in PMBOK, whereas if you are from the Islamic point of view, your leadership qualities are that you will see the leadership qualities and the perfection that has been modeled by our Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as I said, that Islam as finance is the backbone of any of the projects. So in a conventional model, you have profit and loss sharing, system. In Islamic mode, you have mudaraba. In conventional, you have joint venture, which is changed to musharaka when you are doing Islamic financing. Cost plus financing is changed to murabaha. Leasing, so ijara, takafful, istisna, all those Islamic mode of financing, which are you can use those while you are running your project, which would bring barakah as well, which would turn you from the project manager, from a conventional project manager to a Islamic project manager, which would increase. So just I wanted to give you a little bit of a hint of how does it blend into our Islamic viewpoint as well. Okay, we were talking about 6th edition and 7th edition. So if you see in the 6th edition, there were 10 knowledge areas, 5 process groups, which have been changed into 12 principles and 8 performance domain. And then there is a digital content on the website, PMI website as well, which is very important. You can just type in whatever artifact or whatever information you need, and it will all be presented to you. So it's a very good addition by PMI. We have already discussed this, that what are the differences between 6th edition and 7th edition. So 6th edition focus on processes, whereas 7th edition or the new exam focuses on the value-based delivery. We previously had 10 knowledge areas. Now we have 8 performance domain. And in the previous project management, you work on traditional methodologies. Now you work on various approaches, which are waterfall and agile. This is the clip from PMI's frequently asked questions, where people have asked that if the prior edition is, the contents of the prior edition are valid or not. And they have responded that the key learnings and concept from PMBOK 6th edition remains still valid, which means that you also, for your information purpose also, and for your understanding also, if you want to go through the, those framework, you can go through those framework. And then, because still a lot of projects all over the world are being run through those conventional approach. So those are still valid and you might have to work through that. So what are the study guides? So this over here, the first guide, if you see over here, there are various guides, but for the purpose of exam, you have to work or you have to study PIM book 7th edition, which is the first book that you see over here. The second book, which was a combination of two books, was PIM book guide and then the agile practice guide. So it is here, and again, as I said, that you might want to just study it just for you to have an understanding of what that project management is all about. And then of course you have various exam question answers, Q&As to practice a lot before you go and sit for the exam. Just a film strip that you can see that it is started from 1996. PIM book first was launched in 1996 with 176 pages, 9 knowledge areas and 37 processes. And it ended in 2017 with 6th edition, which was almost 924 pages with 10 knowledge areas, 49 processes and 722 tools and techniques. And now in 2021, the 7th edition is only 370 pages with 12 principles and 8 performance domain, right? So basically, if you see, the 7th edition is based on principles rather than those processes and how do you conduct those processes through different tools and techniques. So they have done with all those things. So that's why you see a shorter version of PM, the latest edition of PIM book. From my side, PMP is a doable certification. It just needs your focus. A lot of people come and ask me that how much time do I take to study for PMP exam. Really, it depends upon your studying habit. If you are able to give more attention or more focus, or ideally if you are not working and if you sit full time, from 9 to 5, you can clear a lot. I've got a lot of examples from my students who have cleared the exam only in a month's time, right? But again, if you have got family, if you are working, if you have got different commitments, then anywhere between 2 and 3 months. And then again, these are depending on your studying habit. How much effort do you put in? Do you study at night? Do you study on weekends? Do you study on Saturday, Sunday, or whatever is your public holiday? So whatever preparation you can do, but anywhere between, if you take conservative approach, between 3 to 4 months, you can easily, if you are consistent in your studies, if you have commitment, if you're married, family commitments, plus your job as well, anywhere between 3 to 4 months, you can prepare for this exam and you can pass the exam. If you are jobless, or if you are able to give 9 to 5, at least hours of studying, you can prepare for the exam anywhere between a month's time to 2 months, 2.5 time. Just a little bit overall. But if you are focused, if you are dedicated, it's a doable certification. And a lot of people have done it when they come over here in Canada on immigration. They do this. Initially, that they don't have any jobs as well. So they go for this certification. They do the certification, right? And then the moment they do the certification, all their previous qualification and experience starts complementing. So for example, if a person is a accounting profession and they come over here and they say, oh, no, you have done your CA, which is not recognizable over here. So we can't give you a finance job, and you'll have to do CPA. But once he does that PMP, at least if there's a project for implementing any accounting system, that then goes into they take into consideration their previous CA, saying, okay, you know what, the debits and credits, right? That what are IFRS, that what are the accounting standards. So at least you have not done the CPA from here, but at least you are a project manager. You can take the project, you can take the help of an expert if there is a need to be, whenever there is a need to be, and you can run that project. So for that, you can do those projects as well. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for attending, and I'm here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. As I said, if you have any questions later on, if you remember anything, you can send it over to Taif, or you can, my email address was there in the first. In fact, let me go to the first slide. So email address and all those information. You can connect me over LinkedIn. You can connect me over different other, Facebook, whatever you feel like. And yeah, I'm here for any questions if you have any.
Thank you very much, Kashi sir. A nice presentation, very informative. Like questions before we start taking up the question. One thing is like, how is the exam conducted? Can people take exam like from home, or they need to go to examination centers, or can they take it anytime they are ready, or there is like an exam attempt like IUFE, they have different dates?
So so the good thing over here is that this exam is conducted 24/7. Whenever you feel like from the examination center. If you want to go for to the examination center, it is all over the world. Most of the major cities in the world. So there are these testing centers, multiple testing centers. So only in Toronto, I think there are about 6 or 7 testing centers in different areas. So you can go to anywhere. It is being held every day. So you just have to go, you have to look at the time slot, which is available for 3 hours, and then you can go and sit for the exam. So it is there. And so these are, if you want to go to a testing center to attempt the exam. And as I said that from last year, you can also give this exam from your home as well. So those are the proctored exams. So whenever you are ready, and it goes every day. So whenever you are ready, you can book the exam, and then you can sit at your home as well, and you can give the exam. For those people who are, from COVID point of view, they are a bit reluctant to go to the testing center, or for those places where the testing centers are not available. So then you have this option to sit at your home and give the exam.
And for registering, like if somebody wants to register for the exam, what should the person do? How, like, they should approach some center, or they should go to the website of PMP and register?
Yeah, so as I said, that those 35 hours of classroom education, that is been provided by different vendors, right? Like I also provide this, and then there are many other thousands of people who give those things. But once you are ready, the exam is taken only by PMI. Nobody else can give you a PMP certification. They can only give you a course attendance certificate, but the PMP, after which you will be able to put the initials in front of your name, is only given by PMI. So for that, you have to go to that PMI website to register yourself as a student of PMP. I told you that there are 8 different certifications. So you register for that exam. And once you register for the exam, you pay your fees. They will give you a Pearson VUE, link. You go to that link, you book your slot, and then you just go and, give your exam.
Okay. And how much approximately is the fee for the exam?
So the fee is roughly, I think, around $500. But it all depends that if you register, with the PMI as a member, then there is a bit of a discount as well. I think it comes to $450 or $425 US. So, but roughly in the range of $500.
And so how many papers? There is only one
There's only one paper, 4 hours, like, including those 2 10 minutes break. Just one paper, 4 hours. The moment, so when I passed my exam, the moment I came out of the institute, I opened up my, there and there on the road, I opened up my LinkedIn. I just wrote PMP in front of my name, and that's it. Because whatever are the preconditions, they've already covered. That you are a graduate, you have done your 35 hours of education, you are experienced, and then you've got your PMP.
So you know the result instantly once you finish the exam.
Yeah. There on the laptop only, or on the computer, you'll get that message once you pass the exam that congratulations, you are now a project manager. You get that interim transcript from the testing center saying this is it. Then you will, within 15 days, you'll get a whole package with your certificate and your PMP pin and a congratulation letter, and all those things will come in 15 days. But the moment you get your initial transcript, you can start writing PMP in front of your name, and that is it.
Great. So, like for as you mentioned earlier, before I start taking the questions by the students, Like if I summarize and correct me if my understanding is not correct, that this is a skill that is needed in all industries, and there
Yes.
is huge demand. And this is one of the highly paid in IT area, one of the highly paid jobs or highly looked for certification in the IT area. And anybody who is working on any organization, whether manufacturing, financial institution, or service industry, because the projects are there everywhere. So you need this skill in, as you mentioned, like examples of various profits, the assignments. Where there is a task, there is a project. So every task can be made into a project.
Yeah.
So
And just to Zia, just to add over here, it was like I think 7 or 8 years back, it was a general understanding that this PMP is only for IT, professionals, and that
yeah,
was and the reason for that was that most of the application development programs, like I mean, if you are doing something on your cell phone and all those things, it was a software development life cycle, and that was a project because once that application was developed, then it would go into production or it would be commercially launched. So it was identified. But now, for the past 10 years, that concept has altogether changed, and each and everything that we do is a project management. So for example, this session that we just conducted right now is the project in itself. I discussed with Zia. We had a scope of what we need to cover. We selected a time, whether it was convenient for me or not. We arrange for a time, we arrange for a day, we arrange for a date. Right now we are in the execution phase. If you look at the this, and once we finish this thing, the project will be closed, and you will have a dedicated outcome, that whether you want to go for the PMP exam, whether you feel that project management is not your domain, so you will just go with it. So if you understand, it's all a project. And when I teach my student, they always come to me and say, but this is what I practically do, but this is what I practically do, these are the steps that I practically do. And I always tell them that yes, project management brings everything in formality, right? So
correct.
that is what you do, right? For example, you might be managing your own personal finance, but you cannot go to Microsoft and say, I'm applying for a CFO position just because I do my personal finances, which is a bank balance of $10,000 maybe, right? So for that, you need to have a professional skill, and that is what you do, and you get that certification, and then you go to big organization and say, now I'm a professional CFO or financial professional, and I can get that job on that basis.
Great. Thank you very much. So we now move to the questions. So first question from Mashood Delaj Kolawole is, I think it's covered. So if you are in arts or humanities as well, like if you are in arts, like art, music, fashion, or anything,
Yeah.
anything that you would like to do, yeah, it is also desirable there, right, brother?
Yeah, so I can give an example, and I think I can see the questions over here, so I'll just go through those questions as well. So for example, if you are painting, and I'm just giving an example, if you are painting, one of that paint, it's a project in itself. If you are doing a drama, just some of the examples, that's a project in itself. For humanities, for social services, right? I'll just give an example. In Canada, there's a lot of social services going on. So all those things those are just, created as a project. I think there's a question from Afzal Arbab saying that, do we pay for extra exam attempts? Yes, there is a fees for that as well. It's not that $500 in itself, but there is a fees which they do. Is the person question is, what are the requirements to assess or qualification for being able to write the exam as mentioned earlier? Okay, so there are 3 requirements for attempting the exam or for registering for the exam. The first requirement is that you should be a graduate or a high school, you have done your certification. The second requirement is that you have to have 4,500 hours of for experience. If you are a graduate and if you are a high school, diploma holder, then 7,500 hours of experience, and then you have to have 35 hours of classroom education for that. What is the price of for this exam? As I said, roughly around $500 US. For a professional from humanities, would you recommend pursuing this certificate? Yes, of course. I mean, as I said, that it's a globally recognized certification, and for humanities, for arts, I always say that at whatever you have done, even Zia, he's a chartered accountant, I would strongly suggest him to do PMP as well, because every, then he can expand his horizons as well. Can I find lesson and video before I register? That, yeah, Zia would be able to.
So I think like the contents for there are like two things that is there. One thing is that the preparation for the course. So you can register, like you can only register for the exam, if I understand correctly, Kashif.
Yeah.
You can only register for the exam once you have gone through the preparatory phase, because there is no, because the exam is daily. So you can only register when you are ready. So yes,
that's correct.
So you have to prepare for the exam before you register for the exam. So you complete all the formalities, including the 35-hour learning that is required and other formalities that Kashif mentioned. And then only you should go for enrolling the exam. Otherwise, you will not be enrolled for that. Right, Kashif?
That's correct. That you can only, because those are the preconditions. So you can only do that. You can only register for the exam once you have gone through those conditions.
Yeah. Okay, let me have a look at some questions in chats.
Yeah.
5-year working experience as account assistant is asking. Abdullah is asking. I think like you have already mentioned.
Yeah.
He's asking if is it feasible for him. Surely it will be feasible for him, right?
Yes, it would be, because if you are an account assistant as well, and then later on, if you want to run as a project of implementing, and I'm just giving an example, that implementing any accounting system anywhere, it would definitely come in handy over there.
Yeah, and Safiu has added to what you said, that the Prophet Yusuf was Minister for Agriculture, Mineral, Solid and Natural Resources, and like warehousing as well. So food security manager as well. So yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Saying, is there a physical? How do okay? So they don't need to go to. Suleiman is asking, he's in Nigeria, and how do he register for the exam? Is there a physical address where he need to go, or he can go on the website of PMP and?
Yeah. So I'm writing the address pmi.org. So if you go to the website www.pmi, which is projectmanagementinstitute.org, you can find all those different certifications and all those requirements and everything over there. So if you, even if you are in Nigeria, wherever you are, as I said, that is a globally recognized certification. Wherever you are, you go to pmi.org. So you will get to that website. You go to PMP. So it will display those 8 certifications that have been offered by PMI. You go to project management and they will ask you to register. I mean, once you go through the website and all the requirement, you start the registration process and that's it. You'll be registered with PMI. And in Nigeria, I know that a lot of people attend PMP from Nigeria. So of course, there are many testing centers over there in Nigeria. Wherever you are, if you are in Lagos, wherever you are, there are many testing centers there.
And as I mentioned earlier, Brother Kashif and myself as well, we were like fortunate to spend like good time. I spent about 9 years. Kashif was there for maybe more.
11 years, yeah. 11 years.
11 years, yeah. I left earlier. He was in Ghana. So he's very well aware of the West Africa region. Thank you very much. It seems we have covered most of the questions. I would like to thank you once again, Kashif, for your time early morning. And I would like to thank all the participants for today. It was a very knowledgeable and full of information and quite interesting. Especially, I really like the portion that you made for linking it with the Islamic side of it. So thank you very much, Kashif. Final remarks from your side, and then we conclude the session.
Thank you very much, Zia, for inviting me for this session. I would also like to thank all the participants who have taken out their time and attended this session. It was really good to seeing you over here. And as I said, you are always welcome to get in touch with us, with Zia for any. And we are planning to launch a session. So let's see, depending on how many participants are interested, we may launch a course as well, and we can take it up from them. And you are always welcome to get in touch with us whenever you feel like. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This brings this session to an end. Looking forward to talking to you sometime soon, inshallah, again. Inshallah. And probably with Mr. Kashif, we might be working together, inshallah, to come out with the preparatory classes, the 35 hours thing that Kashif mentioned and which he specializes. So inshallah, we hope we will be able to convince him that we start it on Taif's platform together, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you. Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam.
This session to an end. Thank you. And is concluded. Assalamu alaikum.